Hello guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. For those of you who don't already know me, my name is Yasmin. I'm 18 years old and I am a second year university student at McGill University. So due to the current pandemic that is going on in the world kind of went into lockdown around like 5 to 6 months ago, and even though the world has been put on pause, our lives haven't. So for us students, that doesn't mean no more school, that means online school. I know that a lot of people had a hard time adjusting, and I know for me, I kind of had a hard time at the start because I really learned how to separate my home life from my uni life. Like, I made home the place where I come to when I'm relaxed, stress-free, I'm happy, this is where I have fun, where I chill with my friends, and uni is uni, like uni is where I work, uni is where I have all my stress. Like, I left that out of the house and it was kind of hard for me to like put it all together here, you know. But I do have a few tricks up my sleeve that really help me adjust so much better, stay productive, stay motivated, still get all the good grades that I was like aiming for. I decided to make this video for your guys' sake and try to help everyone out. And there have actually been a few comments on my other videos like requesting for a video on like how to online school kind of, and like how to stay motivated, how to be productive, and all that jazz. So yeah, I'm so excited to do this video for you guys. And before I get straight into it, I just wanted to say, if you guys are interested in more university or college related videos and advice and lifestyle and all that jazz, then make sure you guys hit the subscribe button down below and the bell notification button so you guys get notified every single time I make a video. So the first tip is to actually get ready for school. Back in the day when we used to have to physically show up for class, you weren't gonna roll up in your PJs, so this shouldn't be any different. Like, if you usually wake up, do your hair, put on like a little bit of makeup, put on a cute outfit before you head to school, then do the same thing even if you're at home. Psychologically speaking, there's actually something about being in clothing that's slightly less uncomfortable that makes you work a little bit harder because you don't feel like you're in the comfort of your own home. It makes you feel like you're at school or you're at the library, you're in class, you're in a lecture, you're working. Like, if you usually get dressed to look presentable before you go to school, get dressed so you look presentable for yourself at home. It's okay if you're at home, you're still gonna be going to school. Do the same thing. It helps you feel like you still are going to school. Trust me guys, when I first read this, I was like, okay, this is a bunch of BS, this is so not gonna work, but I put it to the test and I would sit down, attend my Zoom class, and I felt like I was working so much harder because I was dressed, I was prepared, I felt like I'm presentable whether or not anyone can see me, whether or not I'm home or not, type of thing, you know what I mean? So trust me guys, the reason that I'm telling you this works is because I put it to the test and it really made a difference for me. Okay, so the next tip is to set a schedule for yourself. So since all our classes are going to be virtual, for the sake of people being in different time zones, almost all your classes are going to be recorded. So even if you don't necessarily attend your class at the time that it starts, it does mean that you can do your class whenever you want. But just because you can do it whenever you want doesn't mean you should. I would say set a schedule. If your class is at 8 a.m., wake your ass up at 7 a.m., get ready, and attend your class at 8 a.m. It's so important for you to continue living your life as if you are physically going to school. If you would physically attend your class at 8, wake up and attend your class at 8. Whether or not you can do the recording later on at like 5 p.m., you shouldn't do that. It is very vital for you to schedule and limit your time. So the reason I say limit your time, I'm going to be explaining this through Parkinson's law. Work expands so as to fill the time available for its completion. So basically what it means is the more time you have to do something, the more time it's going to take for you to do it. And if you don't actually follow a schedule as if you are physically in school, it is going to lead to procrastination and you are going to fall behind. Whether or not you think you can cram everything together, you really can't. And even if you manage to, it's not going to be as productive and efficient as it would be if you were studying based on a schedule or following a schedule. Like, for an example, for me, I create a schedule for myself and I kind of mimic how I live my life at school. So let's say I have a class from 8 to 9, I'll put on my schedule class from 8 to 9, and then from 9:30 to 2:30, I'll literally be at the library all day just working non-stop. I will put on my schedule from 9:30 to like 1:30, 2:30, all I'll be doing is working. The reason that I do this is to keep myself on the same routine. Like, I know when I usually end up taking breaks at the library, so between the time that I schedule for myself to study, I will schedule breaks, I will schedule a time for me to eat, just schedule every single thing ahead, because guys, trust me, it really helps you stay on track. It helps you make sure you don't fall behind on any assignments, and honestly, when you don't stick to a schedule and you just kind of do whatever you want whenever you want, you're gonna end up spending way too much time on a certain class or a certain assignment, and that's gonna make you fall behind in other classes or make you too tired, so you're gonna end up procrastinating for everything for the next day, and it's just a big mess. So I would just say stick to a schedule, just pretend like you're actually at uni and work like you normally would. Okay, so the next step would be to create to-do lists. I can confidently say that the only reason I get anything done is because I get super satisfied when I cross things off my to-do list. And honestly, it also helps me be very productive, and the reason is because you can't expect to wake up and be super productive that day if you spend significant amounts of time trying to figure out what you're gonna do and how much work you need to get done in time to finish by your deadline, adding up all your other classes that you have and like all of that mess. So the most important thing is for you to like create to-do lists and pair them up with your schedule, but you need to do all of this before your week actually begins. So like what I do is I create super detailed to-do lists and I color code them based on what day I need to do them, how important the task is, what I need to get done first, all of those types of things. And I create all of this and pair it up with my schedule before the week actually starts. It kind of already eliminates so much stress. Like, I'm not worrying about, am I gonna get things done in time, because I already planned it based on how I work, based on what I'm gonna need to do, and all I'm gonna need to do is just follow that schedule, just follow those to-do lists type of thing, you know? It really makes you more productive because you're not gonna be worrying about whether or not you worked enough that day or whether or not you paid attention too much on one certain course, because everything is planned out before. You already planned it out for yourself. All you need to do is follow your schedule. So the next step is to create a positive study environment for yourself at home. So as much as getting up and getting ready in the morning helps you with your productivity, that's not enough. So personally, what I noticed about myself is that if I'm working on my bed, I literally can get barely anything done. But when I'm working at the library, I can literally work non-stop and be so ahead of my schedule and work so much more than I even anticipated. And the reason that is because your bed is a place where it's an environment for you to like relax and sleep, but being at the library, it's a study environment, you know? It kind of pushes you to work harder. And also, like, there's something about being seated in seats that are slightly less comfortable that kind of makes you work a little bit harder. So it's you that's gonna need to remember that just because you have the luxury of attending class from your bed doesn't mean you should. It's actually the first thing you should avoid, because it's actually proven that studying on your bed worsens your productivity and your focus. So when I say create a positive study environment for yourself, I don't mean have a home office. Literally all you need is a table, a chair, and a place where you can isolate yourself from every distraction possible, because when you're at home, it's so easy to get distracted by absolutely anything. Like, for an example, if I do not have my water bottle next to me, I'm gonna get up, go to the kitchen, fill some water in a glass, then I'm gonna get distracted because there's a TV there, then I'm gonna be using my phone, and then it's just gonna spiral into like a whole cycle of not being productive. In class, you weren't seated on a couch being so extra comfortable, so you shouldn't be like that at home. And I'm not saying you should be uncomfortable, you just shouldn't be too comfortable. Again, it does not matter where your study space is. It could be the balcony, it could be the toilet, it could be your room, it could be whatever you want, but make sure you pick just one space and like it. Again, just make sure you have everything on hand and just keep everything tidy all the time. And also, keeping everything tidy just kind of clears your head, eliminates stress. You know, a clean house is a clean mind, so that's something I would recommend. Okay, so the next tip is to commit to being in that class, and this kind of just goes without being said. If you want to make the most out of your online classes and you want to achieve your academic goals, then you need to commit to being in that class. And you know, an advantage that kind of comes out of being in an online class is that you literally can never be late. Just turn on your laptop 5 minutes before your class and just wait for the class to start, you know? Kind of get yourself in the zone of the class. If you usually arrive arrive 5 minutes earlier and sit and you chat with the person next to you, then arrive 5 minutes earlier and sit and have a text message with your classmates, sit and talk to them. It's like perfectly fine. Just put yourself in the zone of that class and commit to being in that class. One way you can do this is by kind of setting small goals for yourself. Like, let's say a goal is to answer 2 questions in English class today. So to achieve your goal of participating in class, you're gonna have to be actively listening. So when you're actively listening, then you can actively participate, and both of those things help you stay in the zone of the class, learn better, stay focused, be more productive. And that's why setting goals kind of helps you stay in the zone of the class, whether it's something big or something small. Okay, so the next tip is to be active with your classmates. If you're the type of person who craves social interaction, then get a study buddy. There's nothing wrong with that. If you want to sit and spend the next 3 hours FaceTiming with your friends, then do so, but don't let it get in the way of your studies. Make them your study buddy. Work on your assignments together. You're still having social interaction, you're still talking to people, you're still hanging out with your friends, you're just being more productive and not procrastinating on all of your studies just because you want to talk to other people. The thing is, when you have a study buddy, it kind of forces you to stay on track and avoid procrastination, because you two are supposed to complement each other and work together. And if you want to work with someone and you want to like have that social interaction but still be like on track with your studies, you're gonna want to always stay on each other's level. So you guys are always going to be pushing each other, and you're going to avoid procrastination as much as possible so you can work together. So I would say having a study buddy is like super effective. I know that I work better alone, but so many people work better when they're working with someone. Okay, so the next tip I would say is to take breaks, because if you study for extended periods of time non-stop without taking breaks, it's just gonna cause you to be less and less productive. So I would say just take breaks every once in a while. Don't make them too long, because when you're out of the study zone, it's very hard to get back into it. So I would say take little breaks, and when you do, make a snack for yourself that consists of food that is linked to better brain power, like walnuts, yogurt, fatty fish, green veggies, berries, tea, coffee. Okay, so the next tip is to procrastinate productively. And I know this sounds kind of contradictory, but the thing is, no matter what, almost everyone gets kind of slumpy around the afternoon, and it's normal for you to like kind of want to break or be a bit more slow. But just because you end up procrastinating, even though you shouldn't, everyone ends up procrastinating every once in a while. So even if you do, it's important that you procrastinate productively. So for example, you don't need to be like scrolling through Instagram for like 3 hours. Instead, you could do the laundry, do the dishes, clean your room, do a bunch of things that are keeping you productive, even though it's not your studies. And the reason I say if you end up procrastinating, procrastinate productively is because when you're being productive, whether or not it's your studies, it makes you feel like you're doing something. So it kind of, in a way, will get you back into the zone of study. So when you're working on your chores, when you're crossing things off your list, whether or not it's your studies, you're just kind of like, okay, I want to keep doing this. I'm being productive right now. I want to finish what I'm doing. It kind of will lead you back into studying. I mean, that's what works for me. And I feel like it does also work for like a lot of people. So I would say it's very important for you to practice productive procrastination. Okay, so my last tip for the day, and I would say is the most important tip, is to just be honest with yourself. You know, are you really working? So you have a deadline coming up and you're stressed out because you left everything to the last minute. And this isn't because you just had other chores to do. No, you need to stop making excuses for yourself. Sit down and think, am I really working? This is crucial if you have a problem with productivity, because the first step to fixing a problem is admitting that you have a problem. And if you do, that's completely okay. Not everyone can easily transition from one thing to another. Not everyone is great at something when they start it. And admitting that you have a problem, or that you need to catch up, or you're not easily adjusting into online school is fine, because it doesn't mean that you're never gonna get better at online school. Not everyone is good at something the first second that they try it. It's important to remind yourself that that is completely okay, but what is not okay is letting that discourage you. You need to always remember that progress isn't linear. You're not gonna get better at it in a day. There are gonna be so many ups, there are gonna be so many downs, but you learn from those ups and downs. You learn what you're good at, you learn what you're bad at, what you need to avoid, and what you need to do more. And I know with that it can be hard to stay motivated, but the most important thing is for you to have willpower. Whether or not you're motivated to do something, whether or not you want to do it, whether or not you love it, you just need to sometimes force yourself to do it and get yourself in the habit of it, get yourself in a routine. I've mentioned this before, but habits are very, very powerful. So you need to be strong enough to have the willpower to create those habits. So whether or not you love online school, you're gonna get in the habit of doing it, and you're just gonna become so much better at it. You know, the more you do something, the better you are at it. And that's kind of like willpower, because willpower is kind of like a muscle, you know? The more you practice willpower, the stronger it gets. So yeah, guys, I know in the end of the day, everybody works different, everyone studies different, but overall, I feel like these are what worked for me, and when I kind of helped other people out, this is what worked for them too. So yeah, guys, that is the end of today's video. I hope you guys found it useful and that you enjoyed it, and if you did, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share this video. And if you guys are interested in more college or university related videos and advice and lifestyle and all of that type of jazz, then make sure you hit the subscribe button down below, and I'll see you guys next week.